The Spurs helping us get in the holiday spirit with a 20-point win over the Thunder. So is this all holiday name team. Well, good ones there. My personal favorite or least favorite is Joe Ingles. Jingles. What about you, my friend? Which one of those is your favorite?
Pretty good names here. Danny Green, all the Spurs fans would love, but I think Drew Holiday sounds pretty good when you look at all the names here for the holidays.
More holiday topics because we love the holidays here at the Frost Bank Center. Who won the favorite holiday movie? Of course, TJ and Michelle did. Home Alone winning 47% of the vote, as it should be, because there is no greater holiday movie.
Should have been higher than 47%. Home Alone's all-time top 5.
You bring up a really good point. You bring up a very good point. Like we said, Spurs helping us put us in the Christmas mood, the holiday mood. You know, I think when we talk about the turnover battle, you mentioned it. Dylan Harper obviously doing a great job of taking care of the basketball, but he wasn't the only one. The Spurs with only 8 turnovers in this game, and the Oklahoma City Thunder coming into it led the league in forcing opponents to turn the ball over. Yet the Thunder were the ones with 15. So when you think about how crucial that element is to the game, especially when they're playing in two days, how much does that play a factor?
Well, it plays a huge factor. It also just shows you the attitude and the temperament in the locker room with the Spurs, of them understanding the importance of this game. They came out and wanted to give it to the OKC to send a message to let them know that they was for real, and the other win in the cup was not luck. So we're going to look forward to see what happens here in 2 days here on Christmas Day and see if we can go in OKC and return the favor of showing them that, no, we are the better team.
Ahead of the game, Mitch Johnson told us that he wasn't quite ready to call this a rivalry because of the respect that he has for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Certainly probably not going to change after just one game, but here is the head coach, Mitch Johnson, following a 20-point win over the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Coach, what do you think the physicality that you guys played with tonight, how do you think that manifested itself on this whole game?
I think it's been an area of ours that's been improving. I think it's an area, there's certain things on the basketball court that are contagious. And I think physicality is one of them. Sometimes physicality doesn't show itself the same for each player just because of how they play, their body type, whatever that may be. And I thought we did a great job tonight with our activity, which sometimes is how we play with our physicality, because we're not always as big and strong necessarily, but I thought we did a great job of initiating contact, and I thought over time it really showed itself for us.
Only 8 turnovers against a team that loves to force them, and even speaking to that physicality, what have you guys been doing, not just against this team, but other teams as well, and taking care of the ball? What's been sort of the success there?
The fundamentals, our screen angles have really improved. I think in the second half specifically, you really saw some of our early passes that in the half court created our pace. They do a great job of putting multiple bodies in front of the basketball and guarding the paint. And if you try to over dribble or split their multiple defenders, typically it's not a great outcome. And I thought we did a good job in the second half, trusting to just let the ball find the open man and let that basketball continue to chase whoever was open until they had an opportunity to hopefully have a high percentage shot.
You mentioned certain things being contagious on the court. You know, is energy one of those things? And how have you seen Keldon kind of inject that into his teams?
Keldon was great. I thought there was a couple times actually in the first half where you still got to put the know-how or the execution with the energy. Energy not channeled or directed in the right stuff can hurt you. And I thought he did a good job of playing really hard, and I thought his team defense was a lot better as the game went on. He made a lot of shots tonight and scored the basketball, but I do think typically the ball will find you if you're putting energy in the right stuff, and I think especially in the second half, he was a much better team defender than he was in the first half.
In 2 games now, you guys have fared probably better than anybody at keeping Shai off the line. What are some things that go into that off the foul line?
It probably starts with some guys taking a lot of pride while still being very disciplined in how they approach guarding a player like that. And then it takes your team to be able to show crowds and know where you're rotating and how to help each other without giving up huge spaces on the floor where it could be taken advantage of. And lastly, the staff's done a really good job of continuing to challenge me and the guys of switching up schemes and coverages and looks and being able to have the wherewithal to still be able to execute at a high level without always doing the same thing every time.
For a team without playoff experience, even a head coach without playoff experience, do you look at these next couple of days leading into a second game against a tough opponent as a chance to kind of work on that aspect of the game?
No, in the sense that playoffs aren't a discussion at this point. We haven't played 30 games. We need to continue to get better. I think probably what some of your sentiment is of playing the same team twice in a short amount of time. We've done that, I think, at least once this year, maybe one other time. It gives you it produces typically an approach where you know a little bit of what you're walking into. You just saw a lot of that play, whether that's style of play or, playbook very recently. And so the guys are a little bit more on alert sometimes of whether that's the base of what they're walking into or some of the winks and blinks and counters that the other team may be. And so we would expect nothing but a very hostile crowd and a very sharp OKC team on Christmas.
That was head coach Mitch Johnson following the Spurs' 7th win in a row. It's their longest win streak since March of 2019. And when you think about the fact that it's also the 7th time they had a different leading scorer on this 7-game win streak, it just goes to further reinforce this idea that the Spurs are deep.
Well, yes, they are deep. And when you look at the ball club and you look at guys that like being around each other, you can tell that locker room is a lot of fun. You can tell when guys are falling on the ground, they're picking each other up. And when they get subbed out, they're giving guys handshakes. I've been on opposing teams at the same time where we didn't care for each other. We didn't like the situation. So to see this young team continue to play with each other, continue to get better, and continue to know that it could be anyone's night, that's what makes the Spurs a dangerous ball club.
We'll see if San Antonio can make it 8 in a row when they face, the Thunder yet again in just 2 short days. That game taking place on Christmas starts at 1:30 on ABC. And you can always catch these games on WOAI, especially because it features our own Dan Weiss. Very happy birthday to him, by the way. But as you see there, it will be another, as I think Jacob said, Christmas classic.
But it's going to be good. It's going to be a day that most of these guys get a first opportunity to play on Christmas. I never had that experience, and everyone is going to be tuned in. It's going to be electrifying in OKC because their fans are going to be rowdy, and they're going to look forward to make a big difference in that game there against the Spurs here on Christmas Day.
It is still 1 versus 2 in 2 short days when these two face off yet again. So we get another best of the West when the Spurs try to make it 3 straight against the Thunder this season. For TJ Ford, I'm Michelle Montaigne. Thanks so much for joining us on Spurs Live. San Antonio wins it by 20 over the reigning champs. They are now 22-7 on the season, 11 wins inside of the friendly confines of the Frost Bank Center. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. Happy holidays, everybody. And as always, go Spurs, go.